You know it's Freestyle Friday, so we've got a slate of games to go over for the weekend. Drizzy Drake is in the building. We got to get you right when it comes to betting action. Where should you put your money as you head into a feel-good weekend? I don't know. I'm feeling like things are tipping in the scales for Tar Heels. Maybe they're tipping in the scales for the Demon Deacons. Who knows? We'll talk about all of that on today's show. Let's get it.
Locked On ACC, your daily podcast on the Atlantic Coast Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's edition of Locked On ACC. Thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. It's Friday, so you know it's Freestyle Friday. Drizzy Drake in the building, Locked On Seminoles host. I am Candace Cooper. If you have not yet, you are joining a really good time. It's always fun on Friday. So it's fun every day if I'm keeping it a band, but especially on the weekends because you never know what's going to happen. You never know what we're going to say. We just like to let it rip here as we're going into Saturday and Sunday. We got some really good men's and women's basketball games. We're going to touch on the women just a bit, but we're going to go a full slate here. Get you ready betting wise for the fellas. So I know it's you and me. First game at the slate on Saturday. Drizzy Drake, how you feeling? How's it going for you before I hit this game that we're going to talk about first?
I'm doing good. I'm actually heading up to Tampa for Valentine's Day. I have a full entire thing planned for my girlfriend, making her some gnocchi, making some steaks, some lobster. I got a full 3-course meal planned out. But before we get into
Drake,
that,
what is gnocchi? What is gnocchi?
Gnocchi, it's like an Italian dish, like potato balls, like with like a little penne alla vodka sauce.
Not penne alla vodka. Okay, wait, how you
I
spell
like
that? No,
I like to cook, right? All right.
You a chef. Let me find out, Chef Boyardee Drake.
How do you think that got the size, man?
Okay, people eat out all the time, so you don't know their story. But okay, Drizzy J, let me find out you can do a little chef. What kind of seasonings you put in your little cabinet? Okay.
Ooh, let's see. I got salt, pepper, oregano, basil, thyme. I got some lemon pepper, obviously,
Not
for chicken in there.
Time. Ooh, not the THY.
And then I love garlic cloves. But I personally like going to get the vegetables themselves and dicing them up and then putting them with the meat. That's what my mom
we got
taught
a
me.
dicer. Drizzy Drake is a dicer. Ain't he about to chef it up for his lady? Okay. Valentine's Day, fellas, take notes if you're listening. Okay, my Monday host, if you're listening, take note how to chef it up. Period. Anyway, all right. Let me stop being a fool. Let me be serious because I know people up here on YouTube. They want the real. They want the raw. They want the X's and O's.
Before we get too serious, though, I do want to commend you on your sit down with Sam Moore and Listen Up podcast. You're basically part of FSU Twitter now. I mean, you've been on ours. Locked On Seminoles, you've been on his now. Like, what's next for you to be part of the FSU tribe?
I mean, how we literally met. I met on Noles Anonymous, and then we ushered you into the Locked On family, and now I'm sitting here. I can't wait for my first Twitter Spaces. I'm ready. Put me in the game, coach.
Ooh, talk to Sam about that. He's the king of that.
As soon as Sam gets Jermaine Johnson to get in there, I will run in that Twitter space, okay? Okay, just kidding. Sorry. Anyway. Let's get into Florida State, North Carolina. They're kicking us off for our Saturday slate of games. They'll play at 2 p.m. on ESPN. We're excited to really get into this because, of course, I am a Carolina grad. Drizzy Drake's a Florida State grad, and we're both having teams that we don't know what we're going to get. You know, it's up and down season for different reasons, very much so, but nonetheless, different reasons. How confident are you feeling about the Noles going into Chapel Hill, Drizzy Drake?
I mean, I think I lost the term confident in my vocabulary with this basketball team. Well, the primary
you just riding the tide.
I mean, yeah, I'm just trying to hear, hey, listen, it's been a good run. Okay, I'm ready for the NIT to be coming here and do my own bracket with other teams and supporting y'all. Supporting
Not NIT.
I mean, but the problem is, like,
we might be right there with you. Sorry.
I mean, it'll be a part of that. Do what you want. You know that. But no, I think the primary concern is FSU lost 3 of their starting players, whether it be Malik Osborne to an injury. Naheem McCloud isn't super healthy. I think he's out as well. And Anthony Polite, our shooter, even though he has shot terribly from the field all damn season, we have no shooting game whatsoever with him being out. So right now it's a bunch of young guns. And from what I'm hearing now, it's that there's not locker room issues, but it's more that a lot of these young kids are used to being, the best of the best from their high school. And then now they don't have the veteran leadership on the court with them, playing with them as they're healthy to kind of guide them through these rough times. And that's why you see we get close to winning these games. I think with Wake Forest, we're almost there. With Pitt, we were tied to half, even though Pitt's a terrible team. Honestly, we should beat them with their bench players, not even our starters. But then you see these sort of collapses, and it's more like I think these kids need to grow up a little bit or take the summer to, like get ready for college basketball is big boy basketball. And we're just doesn't
Yeah.
seem that any of them are ready to play that yet.
Yeah, that's really true that you say that because I think just looking at the grand scheme of some of our young players and how they've had to mature, our freshman to sophomore, and they really want to have to grow up quick. It's amazing how you're so used to being great, but guess what? When you get into the ACC, when you get into college basketball, period, everybody great. Everybody's good. Everybody's got great handle, whatever, whatever. Everybody was, the number one triple 5-star in their high school. But this is a big boy league. This is preparing you for what you want to do when it comes to the NBA. And yes, some people have the gifts and talents to go right out of college. They can play at 18 and 19, ready. Need to develop. And I think for me, that's what I've seen out of North Carolina. Like the development still needs work. We have some guys who still very much might need another year. They're probably feeling confident, but I'm here to tell you, go ahead and just keep learning. Keep getting your skills together before you try and head off to the next level.
So then I do want to ask you, because we do have that one weird win against Duke this year.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any concern that this game UNC might come in like kind of lackadaisically and kind of take and I mean we'll not come in because we're coming to UNC. It's going to be at Chapel Hill. Do you have
Mm-hmm.
any concern that FSU might pull a fast one and like just maybe steal one on y'all's court just for just to kind of rub it in?
So I think Carolina, besides the Duke game, is very good at home. If they're good at nothing else, they're good at home. They were undefeated at home until they played Duke and they got embarrassed. But I don't think the FSU is Duke personally, one. But two, the way they fought against Clemson, I know they know how to fight against teams that are at the same level or maybe a little bit under, whatever that means. But I feel like Carolina's going to take care of business. And I say that, and then I say, oh, why are we struggling against a team like Clemson? I don't get it. So I don't know what I'm getting with this team, but I'm glad they made it official that Dawson Garcia, if you have not looked at breaking news, that he will not return to UNC for the rest of the season. He is going to be a huge loss just for his body's sake, being a big man, being able to come off the bench and really give some minutes. He started a couple times this year. I think it's going to be a big loss for the Heels moving forward, especially they play 7 to 8 guys. Rotation is hard to come by. And the fatigue of just what the season has become. And then you start to have tournament games, which are AAU style back to back back. I don't know. Heels might get caught slipping.
I would love for that to happen, but the problem is one of our best players for the past week and a half has been the Weatherman, which for those of you that don't know is a walk-on by the name of Harrison Prieto, HB, Harry P. Listen, I love the kid. He's pretty solid defensively, in my personal opinion. He should be a scholarship player instead of White Wilkes. But when that is going to be your starting big man, you have a problem, especially when you're going up against a Armando Bacot, who tends to be a little more physical in the paint, physical all around. So, folks, right now the line hasn't dropped. I'd be surprised if it's anything lower than 9. If it's around 9, I would take it all the way up to 11 because this will be ugly with a capital UGLY. We ain't got an alibi. We're going to get smoked.
I love that. Quick hits on games. Not going to go too much in depth because kind of sort of is what it is. NC State and Pittsburgh. Not sure what the line is, but they play at 3 o'clock on ACC Network. What we got, Drizzy Drake?
Pittsburgh is terrible. They just beat the worst team in the ACC. I'm joking. We're not the worst team in the ACC, but they did come off a big win against Florida State. And also that Florida State game was at the Tuck, which is basically it's a hard place to play. And even though lately it hasn't been that hard for anybody else to play at, but NC State with Darian Seabrun, I think we've kind of touched on him a lot. He's a good, really, really damn good player. But they're on a 6-game losing streak now at this point.
It's getting ugly. It's getting ugly. Not even gonna hold you. I think they're dead last in the ACC right now.
Yeah. So, folks, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if NC State is favored by maybe 2 points. Take Pitt money line because I think Pitt winning against against FSU away kind of could catalyze them a little bit more. And right now, it just seems that NC State, their entire MO is that they can't close. So I would go with Pitt in this one.
No doubt. Another quick game that I want to touch on, not too deep. Georgia Tech and Virginia. Virginia coming off that big win against Duke. Don't get caught sleeping against Georgia Tech because they absolutely can beat you.
Yeah, I think Josh Bax is a really good coach. I mean, I think he's a weirdo. I think he's kind of a goofball, but he's a really damn good head coach. And then with Virginia, like we thought they were figured out. I mean, Virginia, they're coming off. They beat Duke. They beat Miami, who I thought is still a very good team, and they kind of blew them out the water after we said their offensive scoring was an issue. So to me, I think Virginia Tech's kind of like Virginia's starting to come full circle. Now it's February. I would take Virginia in this one, probably up to -9.
No doubt. All right, before we get into other games, want to make sure we touch on what our betting network here, our betting site helps us to get all of our money together. Bet Online has you covered this season with more props and odds and lines than ever before. BetOnline.net remains the number one spot for all of your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. And it's basketball, it's football, it's pro and college with that, NHL, boxing, UFC, right along with some real-time updates of current games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the new amazing offers available to you. BetOnline is simply where the game starts. BetOnline.net, that's what it is. That's where we're at. Drizzy Drake in the building, Locked On ACC podcast. Candace Cooper here, ready to talk some more about some hoops. Got a lot of good games in on this bad boy, Miami and Wake Forest. Okay. Feeling good. We know you're hype about Miami this season. I know it hurts you. It pains you, but here, this is where we're
I'm
at.
slowly dying inside.
We hate to say it, but they're having a good run here. Wake Forest, first team to 20 wins this season for the conference. Are they smoke and mirrors, though? Should we be invested in the Demon Deacons right now?
I think this game, if they win, I think that's when we can do a kind of a full all-in with this team.
Okay.
I think with Wake Forest, I mean, they're led by Alonzo Williams, who, for those of you who don't know, he has been named the mid-season Nation Player of the Year, which is a huge honor for a kid that transferred from Oklahoma. He's a damn good player, but I want to see how they play up against someone like Miami. Miami has the players in Karen McGusty and Isaiah Wong. I know Sam Wardenberger is being asked to do a little more than he should, but he stepped up to the plate. And this is a really well-rounded, really well-coached Miami team who, quite frankly, like it's probably be one of the better wins on their schedule if they win and beat them out by maybe like 5 to 6 points. I think right now that Wake Forest is actually not a favorite in this game. Scratch that note. Scratch that note. My numbers have Wake Forest at -6.
Okay.
To me, I would take Miami to cover that game, honestly.
You know, it's very interesting. And of course, I think that Wake Forest ultimately is going to take this win. But how Londez Williams and Brady Manick both got away from Oklahoma, I'm just like, what we got going on over there in the Big 12 to where these two were teammates and they're both now pretty much making a name for themselves in ACC schools.
Oh, who's the coach there now? Isn't the guy from Loyola Chicago's the coach there now?
Oh, I couldn't tell you.
Damn.
They all look the same to me.
That's fair.
They all start to blend. I know that's wrong. Anyway, I take it back. Duke, Boston College. The way I was looking at ACC Network, let me tell you, they was hyping up this game. There was like a full on, montage. Yeah, videos. They was reeling it up. And to me, Duke, who we know played Clemson, and now we got Boston College here. I hate it had to be you, but Duke better be on a mission right now as they're rolling through and trying to keep themselves in top 25, which I don't think they'll fall out, of course, but they're repping for the set. They're the only ones who are ranked. So they got to do something and figure it out. Stop losing to teams you're not supposed to lose to.
Candace, what happened the last time Duke lost a game they shouldn't have lost? Who'd they play?
They played Florida State, right?
Yeah, they lost Florida State and they played Syracuse the next day. Sorry, a few days later. What happened?
Syracuse got blown to smithereens.
They lost by 20 points. Buddy Boeheim was nobody's friend or guy. Like, it was just not a fun time for Buddy or
listen, you live by the 3, you die by the 3. Like, if it's your main source of income, if you're not hitting shots, it's going to be a long evening.
It's going to be a long evening, folks. I think we're probably saying this right now as you listen to seeing Clemson lose by 14. And unfortunately, Boston College is a team that a lot of us don't think is very good. They're a very mediocre team. I wouldn't be surprised if Duke puts up like 16 to 17 points because I think that you lose to Virginia and that close of a highly contested game, that takes a lot out of you. And then also Paolo Banchero for some reason is absent in some games for like an extended period of time where if you want to be the number one pick, bro, you got to be on 24/7 through 65. So
okay.
Hey,
we can't have some people D'ing you up and you go completely gone. Like, that's just not how this works. Like, Lee Black's a great defender, but ain't no reason in the world you should be going as missing as you did. And even in the Virginia game, ain't no reason in the world where you should be blank. Like, 9 points. That's all you got. And you're supposed to be the number 1 draft pick? Okay.
You should be averaging 15 to 16 points, my guy. I'm sorry. If you want that title, you're playing at Duke. I mean, come on. You got to be like that.
100% agree. Syracuse and Virginia Tech. I have been talking about Syracuse all week, it feels like, because I've been on some radio hits and then having to talk with Tyler Aki. Syracuse has everything in front of them to be successful. They have 4 good games right now where they could win. Virginia Tech is the first test that they'll have, and I think it's probably the biggest of. I think they played Georgia Tech. They played Boston College. Syracuse should absolutely win these next 3.
I mean, they should. Like I said, I
They
think
should.
they should. I mean, like I said, they play Virginia Tech, then they have Boston College, Georgia Tech, and then I think they round it out with an away game at Notre Dame, and that's probably the hardest game to me, probably out of all four of those.
Mhm.
And this Virginia Tech team, I've said before, I think it's extremely fraudulent. I mean, like you said, you live by three, die by three. This is probably because it's a little bit too soon for me. But I mean, when we got Couture and Padula actually hitting from downtown, when they
Yeah.
don't, they have nothing else really. So
Yeah.
to me, Syracuse with Buddy Boeheim, Jim Boeheim, maybe they're able to round out the little form and end off the season on a high note and heading into the conference tournament play. Ooh, that's a mouthful.
Right, there you go. Final game to talk about for Saturday for the men. Notre Dame will play Clemson, and I think this could be don't get caught slipping, Notre Dame, because Clemson is a very good team. They've come really close first time out against Duke, not so much second time, but I feel like Clemson played close to North Carolina. You guys play close to North Carolina. I think this Notre Dame team is currently sitting first in the ACC standings. They've got to keep rolling. They have good Q1 wins. They are going to, I personally think they're going to be in the tournament, at the NCAA tournament, and dance in March. But you can't let these games that you're supposed to win get away from you.
This is the perfect game to where they drop it, you can leave them out. Because it would look,
Mm,
I mean, to me, this is a team that is not a bubble team, but they're like basically borderline almost first four in, like they're already in.
yeah,
This is a very solid, well-rounded team. But if you lose to Clemson, you look at the rest of their loss, they lose to an Indiana, lose to Boston College, Texas A&M, and St. Mary's. Like those aren't good losses.
yeah,
So, like to me, like in Clemson, I mean, they are a tougher, scrappier team to play against. This is something
yeah.
you should not overlook. And I know you play Boston College afterwards. Trust me, you don't need to look past Clemson to play against Boston College. They're
Right.
not that much of a threat to you.
100%. I agree. So a lot of good games, a lot of great betting action. And the lines come out on Saturday. So make sure you guys take the time to investigate on betonline.net and get yourselves together. Want to really quickly hit games that are happening for the women on Sunday. Clemson will play Georgia Tech. Florida State will play Miami. North Carolina will play Virginia Tech. Notre Dame and Louisville. Really good game between the number 18 and number 3 team. It'll be on ESPN at 2 o'clock. Make sure you check that one out. NC State will play Duke. Syracuse will play Pittsburgh, and Virginia will play Wake Forest. We have a lot of good women here in our conference. I try to remind you guys every single time. These are really quality games. You just love the game of basketball. More importantly, the energy that these ladies bring. It's a fun time. Not gonna
Yeah.
hold you.
Yeah, shouts out to Sue Samrau for getting her 51st ranked win against Notre Dame the other week with Florida State against Notre Dame. That's big for
Yeah.
a program. She's been there for a very long time, especially she took the year off last year with Brooke Wycliffe coming in. And that's a great, wonderful stat that we have in Tallahassee.
Absolutely. And I think what they've had the KYAL Fun Week where they've all gotten to have those lovely uniforms decked out in pink or have some sort of pink to add to the conversation. It's just been, really fun again. Women's basketball. Don't sleep. That's all I say. But before we get out of here, I got to talk to Drizzy Drake because I got to get your thoughts. Because I want to know, for the simple fact that we have maybe 4 to 5 teams that are locks. But if I want to talk just straight tournament time, who are the teams that are dangerous right now? But first, this time of the year, you might have given up on your New Year's resolutions, but I don't want you to feel down about yourself because there is this great protein bar that can get you right and get you right back on track. Not only do we have delicious built bars, we also have puffs. They are the first ever protein infused marshmallow. They're fluffy, they're marshmallowy, and they're not just a protein bar. They're a treat and 100% covered in real chocolate. It's low calorie, high protein. Replace your candy bars with these puffs. They are better. A typical candy bar can be anywhere from 2 to 300 calories, but not built bar. It's 130 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, compared to the candy bar, which usually is around 240, 30 grams of sugar, and a dozen of net carbs. You can have any built bar you want. New this month is the white chocolate cookies and cream. It is delicious, and there are new flavors coming out all the time. If they think a flavor might be good, they'll certainly make it. And those people over at Built Bar know how to get it done. At Built Bar, they're all about taste. They make it delicious first, then figure out how to make it healthy. And I don't know how, but they pull it off every time. Go to built.com, use promo code LOCK15 and get 15% off your order. Again, promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at built.com. So we're wrapping up the show here with Drizzy Drake in the building, Locked On Seminoles host. Make sure you guys check out all that he does with his crew and the Noles Anonymous stuff. And Locked On ACC. Follow us on Twitter at Locked On ACC. Leave your comments on YouTube. Let us know how you feel. You can follow us on Twitter on the respective handles that you see on the screen. Drizzy Drake, we're about to have this ACC tournament here in just a bit. Season is wrapping up. You talked about identity being formed in January, February. We just know what it is. We think as we head into these tournaments, who are you feeling like don't sleep on? Who are the don't sleep on teams as we're going into the final parts of the season?
I feel like you're asking me to say Miami right now.
Any way I can get you to talk about Miami, I'm going to do it. In a
Yeah,
positive way.
in a positive way. Listen,
Yeah.
folks, that's a hard thing for me to do,
I
even
see.
though I'm from here. But I think it is Miami. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Cameron McGusty and Isaiah Wong, and just seeing how they've been able to will this team to steal and win games against teams that are quite frankly much more talented than them. We saw against Duke. We saw them fight that back against Virginia Tech. The same thing with Georgia Tech, which are lower quality teams, but those are still scrappier teams to go up against.
Yeah.
And so to me, that's one team. Another one too is that we, as much as we don't like to claim them that they're ACC, we do claim them for purposes of basketball only.
Yeah.
That's Notre Dame, because Notre Dame, like you said before, like they have a strong enough schedule that maybe they're content enough just to get by just a little bit more up until tournament time. So when the lights do come on, they flip that switch.
Yeah, and I also think teams like Virginia, who was able to have some sort of will and want to beat a Duke, the teams like Florida State, Miami, the Clemsons of the world who've gotten their chance at the King, which is the Duke Blue Devils, or not Clemson, sorry, being close, but not the cigar. But you see some teams really having the will and the desire to really be in the hunt, giving their best in all. Syracuse, before Edwards went down with his injury, I think we're definitely in the conversation. I wish I could talk about North Carolina in this light, but I don't necessarily see it. All the hate coming from Armando Bacot. It's been tough. My guy has definitely been struggling, but it's my guard play that I don't feel confident in. I don't feel confident in Caleb Love leading this team. That's what all a tournament is. You got to have good guards. You got to have veteran leadership as big men, and you got to have some good guards, in my opinion.
Damn, no wonder we didn't get back to the Elite Eight the past 2 years. You know what's really funny, Candace? How neither of us picked Wake Forest. And Wake Forest is 10-4 in conference play, 25 overall.
We ought to be shamed.
What's your reason behind that? Because
and you know what's crazy? I love Coach Forbes. I really do. I think he's a really good coach. I think what he's done for this team is great. But when they're great, they're on fire. But when they're bad, it's like, bro, what y'all got going on? Like, this is just not, I can't hype y'all yet. I don't know. Maybe it's because we're also not used to having them in conversations consistently that they don't come on top of mind. But we definitely disrespected them just now.
I mean, yeah, we basically did. But also, we didn't forget them losing by, 30 points to Syracuse? Is that what happened like 2 weeks ago?
It did. That's what I'm saying. Everyone's fraudulent. Everyone's a fraud in the ACC. Every single person.
I mean, this is basically the weakest basketball conference I think we've had in a very, very long time. It's because it's like as we said, I think week 1, and now I think in week 12, it's Duke versus everybody else, and it kind of sucks.
Okay, but is everyone bad, or is everyone collectively good that you just have to be good every single night?
How about this? The bottom 3 teams are actually bad. The middle teams, for some reason, because if you actually watch the games and don't look at the scores, like, okay, this is actually semi-decent basketball. Yeah. Unless you watched FSU versus Pitt, where I think both teams combined for 35 from 110 from the field. But a majority of the time, it's like the Pac-12. Like, it's all a bunch of decent to good teams just beating up on each other, and like it's like no one wants to for us to have a showing in the tournament. And you bring up, I wonder what Commissioner Phillips is thinking right now when he's like, we are a football conference now. My guy, trust me, I haven't wanted to say that for a long time, but I know damn well as long as Duke and UNC are here in the ACC, that is not going to ever change. So you might want to understand that a little bit.
You say that, but then I wonder if the retirement of Coach K is going to shift the perception of UNC and Duke. The way we were kind of like, about UNC Duke this time out, right? We figured Duke's been so great, Carolina's inconsistent. Even though it was Coach K's last gimme, we still weren't feeling like it was going to be a quality game. Guess what? It wasn't that great of a game. Now, next season, I mean, I know when they have to go to Cameron and in the end of this year in their regular season, playing in Cameron Indoor, having to play Carolina Duke. I don't know if we're going to see the same result where it's going to be 20 points. You know what I mean? Like, you beat them by 20. It could be that. But when you talk about years to follow, can John Shire and Hubert Davis bring the same energy? Because I was talking on a podcast about how coaches are such an important piece of a program. Hamilton is why you go to Florida State. You don't go to Florida State for anybody else but Leonard Hamilton. You went to Carolina for what?
Sam Cassell. Sam Cassell went there, okay?
Okay. You don't go to Carolina if not for a Dean or a Roy, right? You don't do that. You don't go for Duke without Coach K. I don't know if they start to turn the tide and it's not all about basketball. Maybe this is the window for Dabo Sweeney's of the world, the Dave Dorans, to make their name for themselves of why we should talk so highly. Dave Clawson, especially about Wake Forest. Maybe this is their year next season.
That's a really damn good point. I mean, because then you also ask, like, is it Duke basketball or is it just Coach K that he's been able to bring Duke to that sort of standard? So it's like you
I
kind of
mean,
have to get
yes,
deeper with
John
that.
Shire's recruiting well, but I
Mhm.
mean, hell, Coach K recruits well. It don't mean they win national championship every year.
Yeah, I was about to say if championships were won solely based with recruiting only, then I think Duke would have been the champion the past 10 of the 15 years. So it's like
100%.
so to me, and then with the Roy Williams thing, I mean, I do like Coach Hubert Davis. I think I mean, he's going to be there for a very long time, anyways. So then that kind of freaks me out a little bit more. You don't think so?
No, sir. No, sir. Hubert's going to be there 3 years tops. This is like the Matt Doherty years where we just had to blink and find the right guy, and we just going to go ahead. But like, this is cool. Thank you for playing. I don't know.
Damn.
I
Damn,
hate it for him. I hate it had to be him, dog. But I don't think
yeah.
he ain't gonna be no lifetime contract. I can guarantee it. Unless we see some changes, unless we figure out how to put certain people on defense. Yeah, I don't see him being here.
He's gonna clip this, that I'm putting in the locker room for this game play the next time before y'all play Duke.
Play that. Run it back. Caleb Love, I want you arrested. Like I literally texted my crew and I was like, bro, I want you arrested. I don't even why? What do Hubert Davis love about you to where you can't take a break? Because when you messing up, bro, I need you to take a break. When you got more turnovers than points, dog, no. Go ahead and hit that pine. Let's talk about it.
Oh, good Lord. But the way
That's
you
why
say
see, don't put me on this podcast. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
no, you're good. You're good. No, the way you're saying like how like when Roy's leaving and then Coach K is leaving, that kind of where I get worried about Ham at FSU because this is legitimately the worst team under Ham in a very long time. And I'm not saying talent wise, just the way everything's been going on, and like it worries me that
Absolutely.
he might leave because
And
at
you
this
see
point
why
now,
Roy got up out of there? Because he said, I ain't doing this. I ain't telling
yeah,
nobody else to block a shot, get a rebound.
hmm
I'm done. I'm done telling y'all basic things. I can work with basics. Like when you got the fundamentals down, I can work with greatness. But if you can't handle the fundamentals, well, I'm not finna go into an early grade messing with y'all. I want to see my grandkids.
yeah, and like also like I want to win championships so bad in basketball, right? But I understand that at FSU that's not the priority. The priority at
Mm-hmm.
FSU basketball beforehand was like make the tournament, and now we're
Yeah.
making Elite Eights, we're making Sweet 16s, and Ham basically made something out of a program and an institution that no one cared about. And now that I get to talk about it once we go on Locked On Seminoles now. So to me, it's
Yeah.
like, what more does he have to prove besides winning it?
You
And
gonna
like,
cry when he retires. I
I
can
am gonna
see.
cry. I love Ham, man. That's my boy. Come
You
on,
gotta look, you
man.
gotta come too. Cause when I tell you I cried on Locked On Heels when I was the host, I had to it was just a moment of nostalgia because it's never gonna be the same. Like it's going to be different. Moving forward, you're not gonna have the same vibe, and that's okay. But that just means how important a coach was for your program. But goes back to my point of coaches are so instrumental and influential of college programs. So when you have coaches that you want to talk about, you talk about Mark Few and you talk about Gonzaga, like those are things that go one and the same. So it's difficult when you are having coaches like, who's the coach? I'm telling you, Commissioner Phillips, this is your time to shine, big dog. You sat up there and talked big stuff about us being a football school, football conference. Here it is. This is your moment. Because when
Yeah,
Boeheim leaves and Hamilton leaves, who we got?
we got Chris Mack is gone, so not him. We basically had Tony Bennett. That's it. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't want to be in a world where Tony Bennett is the best coach in our conference. I think he's a good coach, but I mean, the guy is like a plant to me, in my personal opinion.
Yeah. I couldn't not. Anyway, I'm gonna leave my comments to myself. So as we move forward, I want you guys to make sure that you bet on all of the sports, all of the basketball this weekend, and then you get in on the action as we move forward towards what is the final few games here of the season. I am super excited to give you that ACC tournament coverage. Wish I was going to Brooklyn, but it's fine. I'll be right here on the couch and still talking to you about it, so it's all good. Once you follow at Locked On ACC, you can follow at KSD Cooper. You can follow at Tally__Drake. And then where can they find you, Drizzy Drake, if they want to follow your work?
They can follow us at Noles Anonymous, is where we engage with their fan base. We're also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, where you get your podcasts at. And also, shout out to FSU Women's Softball. They start the season on Friday.
Not the baseball out.
Hey, listen, I've been waiting for this
Baseball
all
bat,
week.
excuse me.
Yeah, no, with the Joanne Graff Classic, we got Lonnie Almeida leading the team again with Sydney Sherrill, Catherine Sandercock. I always got to say her name like properly. I also like mess it up. But girls, Queens of the Diamond, we're one win away from winning title last year. Let's go get them.
Oh, okay. I love some energy. You might need to get some baseball talk going over here. We're Candace Cooper and Drizzy Drake. We hope you guys have a great and safe weekend. Until next time.